Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we wanted to cover with you how we went about planting our blackberry plants. This is our first time doing this. I also wanted to mention that we're in zone 5, specifically zone 5B. And so today we wanted to show you how we went about planting these in the ground, as far as the size of the hole that we dug, the depth of it, the soil amendments that we used given our soil here in this zone. We had quite a few things that we added just to kind of give these blackberries a nice spurt to their growth as far as their root systems and things like that. So, and I also wanted to mention that these are of the Thornless variety. These are Black Satin. So let's go ahead and plant some blackberries. Okay, so I got my holes dug for my blackberry plants that we're going to be putting in here soon. We're going to plant 3 of them. I already got started here. I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to show you guys the holes before I actually got started. Here's another hole right here. These holes are about 9 inches deep by about 24 inches in width or in diameter, okay? So I tried to dig those as evenly as I could. What I'm going to be using today is about a bag or so, actually about 2/3 to a full bag of some type of topsoil. Here's what I'm using today. I'm also going to be using about 2/3 of a bag of this black cow here, cow manure for fertilizer. Going to be using about a half to two-thirds of a bag of some type of peat moss, okay? And we have very heavy clay dirt here. As you can see, this is really thick clay dirt, and so we're not going to backfill with this stuff at all. I am going to use this to build around a 3-inch berm around each of these blackberry plants just to kind of act as a berm, which will help rainwater to kind of flow in, because these suckers need a lot of rain, I was told. So yeah, so again, we have the topsoil, the cow manure, some peat moss. Our soil here is pretty much balanced, okay? Blackberries need more of a acidic type of environment. So I have some soil acidifier that I'm going to put into the holes as well, to help to lower the pH of the soil, to help these things get a good start. It's important that these things really get a good root system going and that they start off healthy. And then for more fertilizer, nitrogen, I'm also going to add some blood meal here, okay? This is just an extra source of nitrogen for the blackberry roots to help them get going. And then the last thing I'm going to use here is some bone meal. This is just an extra source of phosphorus for the blackberry plants. If you have soil that's already rich in minerals, you know, such as calcium and phosphorus and things like that, you may not need this, but I felt we should give these blackberries every chance they can get. And then I've also seen where people will even put some type of bait fish, some type of dead bait fish at the bottom of the hole. As the roots start to grow, that dead fish there at the very bottom is going to provide the blackberry plant even more nutrients as the roots reach down to that level. We're not going to do that dead fish today just because I don't have them here at home and I don't feel like going out and getting those. So I think the ingredients here today is pretty good. I think we're going to be off to a good start. All right, so here we go. Topsoil first. I'm getting most of the bag in here. Maybe not all of it, but most of it. I might add some more later. It's probably a little bit too much at that point. And then take some of that out. I don't want to get it too full. So I'd say more like probably about 2/3 of the bag, a little over half of the bag. And then I'm going to use most of this black cow here. Okay. And then I'm going to add some peat moss. Get my shovel here. I usually do about 3 shovels of this, not real big heaping shovels, but you know, a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to start adding some of the fertilizer type stuff beyond the black cow. So we got our topsoil, our black cow, our peat moss, and now let's put some blood meal in here, as I talked about. So here's our blood meal right here. I'm just gonna kind of get 3 little handfuls here. I'll sprinkle it. Doesn't gotta be perfect. Just some little baby handfuls. Blood meal. And I'm gonna do 2 handfuls of this powder here, which is like a bone meal. Okay. And then again, because our soil is not acidic at all, I'm going to add some sulfur here. There we go, right there. A couple, 3 handfuls of this. I think I'm going to do 3. Again, if you're going to use the fish at the very bottom, like I've seen some people do, that's cool. But if you do put that fish in there, make sure you put about a 2 to 3 inch lime cover over that. Because if you're out in the wild where you got a lot of wild animals and stuff, they could end up digging this up because they smell that fish. So if you do the fish method, putting the fish at the very, very bottom, make sure you put lime over it. And then folks, I'm simply going to mix this up. And there we have it. We got this looking pretty good for our blackberry plants. So as you can see here, we now have the small little blackberry plant in the ground. Give you a little bit of a 365. It's all the way in the ground. Of course, you have to dig the topsoil, cow manure, fertilizer, peat moss. You kind of have to dig that back a little bit to, you know, actually fit that plant in there, but then you just fill it back through again. And then I wanted to point out the little berm. I took some of the dirt that I had dug up, which where I live is kind of a stronger clay content soil, which kind of came in handy because I built this little berm all the way around it to kind of help it conserve water. You know, since things have to be watered so frequently, I've read that it can help to kind of build this little berm around it, not right next up to the plant, but you know, basically the hole that I dug, I basically just kind of built the berm around that hole, so to speak. And again, not real high, maybe a couple 3 inches, and that will help to conserve that water, both when you water it yourself and when there's an actual rainstorm coming or rain showers coming. This will help as well. So all right folks, so she's using the soaker setting on the hose to add some water to these newly planted blackberry plants. We might be getting some rain maybe like late in the morning tomorrow, so she's not putting too much water into these right now, but you know, in case we don't get any rain, we wanted to give those some water since we just planted them. Here's another one we're going to do. This one's a little smaller, and as you can see, as I mentioned earlier, you can see the little berms that we've built up around each one, just to, you know, help collect rainwater and things, especially when they're young like this, you know. So yeah, we just added a little bit of water on these, not too much for now, because like I said before, we're supposed to be maybe getting a rain late tonight, tomorrow morning. If we don't, then we'll probably come back out here tomorrow evening and give them much more water than what we just did, but we don't want to overwater them at the same time. And then we're also going to be putting about a 2 to 3 inch layer of mulch around these as well. But before we did that, we wanted to go ahead and water them. Okay. Here I just finished up putting some pine mulch around the planted blackberry plants. And if I failed to mention earlier, these are of the Thornless variety. These are the Thornless Black Satin. They say these are pretty much self-fertile, at least the kind I got, at least the hybrid that I got, and that you shouldn't have to plant these around other species of blackberries for these to grow. These are going to get a little bit bigger than I thought. They said they could get as high as maybe like 5 to 6 feet So these will definitely be trellised once they start to take off. But yeah, so as you'll see here, I just kind of mulched around them. I backed some of the mulch off right next up to the actual plant. I read that you don't want that mulch too heavy around like the canes and stuff, stalks that are coming up. So I kind of backed that off around the immediate center of the plant. I probably got about 2 to 3 inches of mulch as far as kind of creating a bed around the blackberries. And again, I'm doing this to help to retain moisture in the soil after a rain or after we water. And then also I'm doing it to help control weeds from coming up, right? So that's kind of my purpose of the mulch. Again, this is our first time planting blackberries, but we've been doing some reading and such, and you know, we're trying to do the best we can here. Well, everybody, that's going to be it for today. I hope you guys got something out of this video today on planting blackberries, especially of this specific variety. Even if you aren't somebody that you know, has any interest in planting blackberries, I hope you enjoyed today's video as well, just to kind of see how we're getting down out here on our little homestead. So until next week, we will talk to you soon.